What's up, guys? I'm Silas Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, education on health and social well-being. Welcome to episode 4 of Make or Break, the prep series for the Load the Kilo Classic, which we're like 5 weeks out from, something like that. It's at the start of the video. You guys know how we do. But I believe we're about 5 weeks out, and we are on week 3 of the 4-week wave. Technically, we're on week 4 of a 5-week wave, because you guys know, same as last block for this block, it has to be another 5-week block. The reason why I still call this week 3 is because I call the first week 0 instead of week 1, just because with my usual week 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and 3 to 4, there's a steady jump from week to week. Whereas the week 0, right, when I'm doing these 5-week waves, is just like 2.5 under what I'm doing for the week 1. So that way it's not too big of a pullback. I'm not feeling too detrained, right? So it is technically the 4th week of the block, but it's like what would normally be the week 3, basically, right? Anyway, with all that being said, you guys see, we just finished squatting, and squats went the same way they always do on week 3. Like I've told you guys my trends before, but as a quick recap, week 1, my fitness actually feels pretty high coming off of the week 4 of the previous block, right? But I'm under a lot of fatigue, obviously, so I feel sore, beat up. I get through the week 1, which gets the fatigue down, drops the fitness a little bit as well. So then on week 2, things move well because they're still relatively light loads, but I don't feel really good. But then I come into week 3, my fitness is higher, so I feel a lot better, but because of the increase in the objective load on week 3 compared to what I touch on a week 2 or week 1 or week 0, I end up not moving quite as fast as what you might think I would need to hit what I need to on week 4. But then I come in on the week 4, go up, however much, 20, 30 plus kilos on the squat, the deadlift, 10, 15 kilos up on the bench, and everything moves better just because where my fitness is at. So that trend always holds true. It's a little bit different on the 5-week waves, just in the sense of my week 3s don't feel as good compared to what they would feel like when I'm pushing in a normal 4-week wave compared to when I'm doing like the week 0, then the week 1, week 2. But everything still lines up where I feel the way I need to on that heaviest SBD day of the block. And beyond just the stimulus factors of like how my fitness and fatigue fluctuate and why I feel so much better on the heaviest SBD session, there's also things within my control that I intentionally do going into the heavy session that are different than my usual sessions. Like I wear my Helix sleeves, right, on my heaviest SBD for my top set. And that's the only set I wear it for. For all my other sets, all my other top sets, all my back downs, even the back downs on that heaviest primary SBD day, I wear my soft sleeves just to get that much more of what feels like a boost with the Helix sleeves, right? So that's one thing. I listen to very chill or calming music or even podcasts. Like I'm literally listening to Bob's podcast and Keep the List right now on all of my sessions until that heaviest SBD session. That's when I'll listen to some actual like hype instrumental music or something that just gets me feeling like really ready to go and in the zone. And then as you guys know, I only take pre-workout on the heaviest SBD session of the block. I don't take it for any other session, including the SBD session leading up to it. So it helps me feel so confident to just know, hey, I know what my trends are. I know how I'm going to feel. It doesn't make me hesitant or doubtful because I know I'm going to be able to come on the heavy speed session and do what I need to do because the trends show that. And at this point, having had 4 blocks with this type of training cycle, so we had the 3 blocks for last macro, then the first block of this macro, so 4 blocks in total, and now at this point being on this 5th block, as far as the new structure we've been doing since my last meet, we know what the trends are, so there's nothing to be upset about or freak out about or get in my head oh, it moves so slow. Like I don't freak out when I know what the trends are, and I try to get my clients to do the same thing. Like when a client tells me, oh man, my week 2 felt kind of heavy, it's week 2, it's gonna feel heavy. Your fitness is low, right? So just getting used to that, so you know what to expect, is huge. And then we gotta do what the tank top says, man. We gotta work regardless. Shout out shout out Dion. Love what they're doing with the brand. Love the message behind the brand, the community they're building. It's awesome. So obviously have the support, but. Yeah, I mean, squats felt as they should. And the thing is, the fact that I know what the circumstances are, right, as far as what I purposely do to feel better on that session, and the fact that even with doing it on this 5-week wave, like I did last block, I already have the confidence from last block to know, okay, even though, it's on this 5th week, I'm still going to show up. And the best part is, like I said, we lined it up to where the 5-week blocks are earlier, so that way this final block after this one going into the meet will land on the normal week 4. There'll be no week 0, just 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll feel that much better. And then post that meet, we'll see how many weeks out we are from nationals. If we have to do any 5-week blocks, we'll do those early, like in the first 1 or 2 blocks. Then the rest can be normal 4-week wave. So this next prep post this meet is going to be even better because it'll be like last training cycle where everything's just like normal 4-week waves. But anyway, yeah, squats felt good. About to start one up on bench. I got a few things I want to talk to y'all about. Not even a few things, really just one thing I kind of want to talk to y'all about as far as this coming meet and kind of my thoughts on a lot of these PLA local meets in general and something that I think needs to change as far as the approach that a lot of us lifters are taking to them, at least those of us who are trying to qualify for nationals, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Alright guys, so I just hit my last warm-up and my pecs feel smoked for a couple of reasons. The first one is that for my week 2 last weekend, I was out of town in Wisconsin, Minocqua, Wisconsin, I believe it's called, middle of nowhere, and the only gym was this random rec center type of gym, and the benches there were just awful. I was slipping everywhere. I literally had to use my jacket, put it on top of the bench and try to use it not to slide as much. It was also just a very narrow bench, so my shoulders were hanging off of it. So I wasn't able to set up the way I needed to. I wasn't able to arch the way I needed to, which I'm not someone to really complain about having a little bit of additional range of motion. The problem is when I can't set my shoulders correctly, it feels very uncomfortable, almost painful on the shoulders when they're hanging off the bench, and that also just puts a lot of work on the pecs. So long story short is week 2 was a lot harder than what it needed to be. I still hit what I needed to. I hit my 3 singles with 340 pounds. It's just way harder than what it should have been. And then I still hit my back downs with, I believe, 285 pounds. It's just instead of the 3x5, I had to break it up into a 5x3 in order to be able to maintain position and get through it. But because it made the session so much harder, I was carrying more fatigue throughout the rest of the week. Not to mention the fact that this is, in general, just it's the highest fatigue week that I've had as far as it's the most workload I've done on this structure on a week 2 going into a week 3. For reference, let me just make sure I've got everything here correctly. So yeah, I already told you guys what I did for the primary bench. Actually, no, I'm tripping. I did do 340, but it looks like I did 290, not 285, 290 for the bench work on the 5x3. But then on that same bench, right, because I still was there on Monday before our flight, I did my ascending 3x8 up to 264 pounds, which is the most that I've done for the ascending 8s on a week 2 anyway. And then for my 3x4 2 count, I did 259 pounds. And then for my secondary intensity day, which is my day 4 bench, I did 325 for a double 2 count, then 325 for the repeat single. And then my 4x6 back downs were with 264. And then my 3x3 priming bench was also 264. So not lows that I haven't done before in general, but the most I've done on a week 2 going into a week 3. So I just, due to all that being the higher workload in general, I was already going to be feeling it. But because it's also a matter of, oh, dang, I'm carrying more fatigue for the primary day into these other sessions, I'm just feeling a little bit cooked. So what I'm going to do to be smart, my range is 160 to 165 kilos today. I'm gonna, instead of doing like both singles at the same load, I'm going to just take 160 for the first single, and if it moves as it should, then I'll go to 162 or 165 for the second single, so I can set myself up well for next week when it's really time to push. Hi, man, that was tough. I'm not gonna lie, those back downs were tough. I took a little bit more time between sets than what I typically do. Actually, I really just took what I probably close to what I should be taking, like closer to 4 to 5 minutes between my back down sets instead of just 2 to 3. But we got through it, and even though it felt tough, unlike last week, where it was due to being like in a suboptimal position, having a long range of motion, shoulders hanging off the bench, this was more just like, okay, this is the heaviest I've taken on a week 3 so far, coming off of that higher fatigue week as far as week 2. So it makes sense. And similar to the squat, I already know I'm going to feel that much better on week 4 anyway, regardless. And if I need to kind of be a little more careful with how hard I push the accessories this week, I will. I'm not tapering anything off. I don't ever taper anything upper body wise until I'm going into the actual meet week itself. Just I want that baseline high. But just as far as, you know, maybe I'll do a steady jump over whatever I did last week, not push too aggressively, and we should be good. I'm going to acclimate. Like, there's going to be periods of time where you have to push yourself. That's just part of how it works, man. Like, you're not always going to feel amazing. You're not always going to be hitting PRs back to back. And even when you're in a phase like where I am right now, where I am hitting PRs at the end of each block, I have to keep working and pushing. I can't get complacent. Just because something's hard or difficult doesn't mean I need to stop or pull back or rework something. Sometimes it's going to feel crappy, and you push through it. Now, if everything feels crappy all the time, obviously you need to address something. You need to fix something, programming, recovery, whatever. But my mentality is, so long as everything's following the trends they should, and if something feels a little bit worse than usual, and I can point to why, and then I can fix that, then I'm not worried about it. So bench was good. Let's get into these warm-ups for deadlifts, and then we'll be done. All right, guys, we are back home at the crib. I originally intended to show you guys my accessory work, just the pendulum squats and the single arm press downs, but as always, I'm in a rush, have stuff to do, have stuff to get to, have stuff to get done. So just save the time by not recording it, and it's something you guys haven't seen before anyway. But as far as the deadlifts, very, very happy. First of all, as far as the top set, that is the heaviest that I've taken on a week 3 in a long time. It's the heaviest I've taken on week 3. Obviously this training cycle, because we're only 2 blocks in, but even last training cycle, so the past 3 blocks, heaviest I've taken on week 3. And really, I think it's the heaviest I've taken on week 3 since before my meet back in May. So that's a big win. I'm really, really happy about that. just in terms of where strength is at, because you guys know the type of jumps that I make from week 3 to week 4, especially on the deadlift specifically. And then the back downs, those are just the heaviest back downs that I've done in months, maybe ever. Just so you guys know that I don't often do a whole lot of back down work, even though it's just like, a 2x1. And I think that was around like 74% of my warm-up max, just to see the back downs steadily getting heavier, but still moving very consistently in terms of speed and tech week to week is really, really good. So I'm really, really hyped just with how I'm feeling as a whole. I know I got to just make sure that I'm on top of everything this week as far as, my sleeping, my eating, controlling what I can. Then I'm going to come in the next week and we're going to ball out and have a good time. So I'm really looking forward to that. As far as kind of like the last little thing I want to talk to you guys about, here's my thing. Because I get it. I understand, right? And this is maybe not going to be a super popular opinion. And I want to say that I'm not talking about, you know what? Let me just lay it out here. Let me just lay it out. When it comes to PLA local meets, right? And when it comes to going in and qualifying for PLA nationals, obviously we know that right now there's not really a qualifying total. Like you go in and you hit a 75 kg total and you're good to go, right? So literally just taking 25 kg, just the bar and collars on each lift, and you have a QT, right? The only exception, of course, is if you're trying to actually get into what the equivalent of their prime time slot is. And then for that one, you have to actually be at weight and you have to actually put up like, a top total in the class, right, for people in PLA in order to be in the prime time. Outside of that, you don't have to make weight. You can just walk in, hit 75 kg total, and then you're good to go as far as qualifying for nationals. Obviously, you have to actually make weight at nationals, but you're good to go, right? And I get it. The Fed is still growing, and this is just the easiest way they can kind of probably, incentivize people to, sign up and do their thing as far as nationals. I get all that. But the problem that I personally have with it, excluding meets where like it's a meet where, hey, we have a specific session that's literally just for people who are trying to do that. Like, hey, the actual lifting session is like on Saturday, but on Friday we'll have a small session for people who just want to come in and hit the QT. I am all for that. I think it's really cool that a bunch of gyms and meets are doing that. But if they don't have that option, I'm sorry, bro. Me personally, I think it's weak if you don't go in there and put up an actual total. That's just how I feel about it. Like for anyone that signed up for this meet specifically, like the Low the Kilo Classic, man, hey, what I think doesn't matter, but if I see you in there just hitting 75 kg total, I'll be looking at you crazy, bro. Because to me, it's like if you're gonna go on the national platform, at least for the sake of yourself, earn it in some type of way, right? With some type of standard. Like it's different if you're like I just feel like it's different if just due to your training schedule or the way things are looking, you have to just go get like, a QT somewhere. I get it, but I feel like if you're going to take the time to sign up for an actual meet, and if the meet directors and everything, they're going to take the time to get everything together to run an actual meet, go in there and actually lift some weight. I'm not saying you have to go all out. I'm not saying you have to peak, you have to taper. I'm not saying you have to make sure it lands perfectly on your week 4 or anything like that. I'm not saying you have to do all that. But at the very least, man, go in there and hit whatever lifts you had assigned for that day, right? Don't just go in there and just take the bar, bro. Don't do that, because I feel like I don't know. Me personally, I feel like it kind of sucks for the meet directors and for everyone that's, the refs, the judges, everyone that's showing up for that, right? Like I said, it's different if they have a section that's specifically for that because they're choosing to show up specifically for that. But if it's an actual meet that they're trying to run and organize and they're trying to grow the Fed and they're trying to grow PLA locally, I feel like people have to actually show up and actually compete. Y'all already know I'm going to go do my thing. It's called make or break for a reason, right? But I have my own personal reasons for taking this meet very seriously. But I just feel like if you're going to take the time to sign up for a meet, if you're going to take the time to travel for the meet and all that kind of stuff, go in there and actually compete. That's just how I personally feel about it. Once again, there's different circumstances. Like, I get it depending on where you're at. Like, maybe you're not healthy. You just need to go, hey, I'm just going to get this QT so I'm good and I'm going to build into nationals. That's fine. But I just know that outside of my clients where they're going to a meet where they specifically have a session that's just for, hey, come hit the QT and then you're good, which is just about kg. All my other clients that are signed up for meets, they're actually competing. They're actually going to go put up a total because it's like, that's what we're about. So I just wanted to put that out there. I personally feel like we need to have more of that energy. And I feel like if more people start doing that, it's going to incentivize PLA even more to actually come up with proper QTs, which they're going to have to do at some point eventually anyway as the Fed grows. But that's just what I think. I feel like that is the type of energy we should be on, the type of time we should be on. But hey, feel free to disagree. That's fine. I'm just letting you guys know where I'm at, where my headspace is at. And I hope that for really not just the majority, I hope for everybody that signed up for this meet, that's the type of mentality they have, because I want it to be fun. It's not fun, man. It's not fun if you go in there and just one or two of you are at a meet. You're the only ones actually like trying and pushing, right? And everyone else is kind of just like taking the bar or whatever. Like, that's just, doesn't even feel like a meet at that point. So that's how I personally feel.
I just want to put those thoughts out there. Y'all feel free to agree or disagree in the comments. It's cool. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the day. That's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch you guys later.